Wealth is not a matter of luck or circumstance. Wealth is a matter of mindset. It begins not in your bank account, but in the silent chambers of your mind, where thoughts become seeds and beliefs become the soil. The richest man and the poorest man think in exactly the same way, except for one critical difference. The difference lies in how they train their minds to recognize, attract, and multiply opportunity. Today, I invite you to embark on a journey not of chasing dollars, but of mastering your inner dialogue, because your mind is the ultimate magnet, and what you attract is a reflection of what you believe you deserve. So ask yourself, are you ready to become a wealth magnet by training your mind to see what others cannot? You know, one of the most important things I've ever learned about building wealth is that it starts with clarity of purpose. If you want to attract unlimited wealth, you must first decide exactly what wealth means to you. Now that might sound simple, but most people don't take the time to really get clear on this. They might say, I want to be rich. But what does that really mean? Does it mean having a certain amount in the bank? Does it mean freedom from worry? Or does it mean being able to give generously to others? Until you can answer that question, your mind will be like a ship without a rudder, drifting with the currents instead of steering toward a destination. When you get clear on what wealth truly means to you, something powerful happens inside your mind. Your subconscious begins to align with your financial goals. It's like setting a magnet in your brain that starts pulling opportunity, ideas, and people toward you. And when I say clarity sharpens your focus, I mean it cuts through the noise, the distractions, and the doubts that often cloud our thinking. I remember early in my life, before I ever achieved any kind of success, I spent time writing down exactly what I wanted. I didn't just say, I want to make money. I described the lifestyle I wanted, the kind of home, the kind of relationships, the kind of impact I wanted to have. That clarity helped me see the path more clearly and motivated me every day. Without a clear target, you'll wander aimlessly. You'll react to whatever comes your way, but never move decisively. But when you define your wealth with precision, your mind becomes a magnet for opportunity. Doors start opening that you never even knew existed. So, take the time to get crystal clear about what wealth means to you. When you do, you set in motion a chain reaction that will carry you far beyond your current limits. Wealth isn't something that just falls into your lap while you're sitting around hoping for luck to strike. It requires action, massive, focused action. I can't stress enough how many people mistake being busy for being productive. They fill their days with activity, yet their bank accounts and dreams remain untouched. Busy work might make you feel like you're moving, but if those actions don't directly move you toward your financial goals, they're nothing but noise. To build wealth, you got to train your mind to focus relentlessly on high-value tasks, those things that actually push the needle forward. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a boat trying to get across a river. If you're paddling hard but not aiming in the right direction, all your effort is wasted. Now, if you paddle hard and focus on a specific target on the other side, your chances of success multiply. The same is true with building wealth. It demands not just effort, but effort with purpose. When I was starting out, I realized that random actions, no matter how hard I worked, wouldn't get me to where I wanted. I had to be intentional. I set daily goals focused on growing my knowledge, building relationships, and creating income streams. Every hour I spent was accounted for and aligned with my bigger vision. Massive action means going above and beyond what most people are willing to do. It's about pushing past the discomfort, the uncertainty, and the temptation to quit when things get tough. But more than just quantity, it's the quality of your actions that matter. Focus on tasks that produce results, not just busy work that keeps you occupied. When your mind is trained to identify and execute these high-value tasks consistently, you build unstoppable momentum. That momentum carries you forward even when obstacles arise. Remember, wealth is built on persistent, focused effort. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve lies in how they act. So, don't just move with intention. And keep moving until your financial goals are no longer just a possibility, but a reality. The company you keep plays a far greater role in your journey to wealth than most people realize. Your environment shapes your beliefs, your habits, and ultimately the reality you live in. If you want to attract wealth, you must surround yourself with people who reflect the kind of success and mindset you aspire to achieve. When I was younger, I noticed how my thinking would shift depending on who I spent time with. If I was around people who talked about limitations and what couldn't be done, I found myself doubting what was possible. But when I surrounded myself with those who were growth-oriented, driven, and financially successful, I began to think bigger, dream larger, and act bolder. This isn't just a feel-good statement, it's the law of association in action. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. If those people believe in abundance, in growth, in opportunity, then you're bound to pick up on those beliefs, whether consciously or not. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with negativity, doubt, and excuses, you'll find your own mindset shaped by those forces, and your actions will reflect that. There was a time when I realized I was holding myself back by staying close to people who were comfortable with the status quo. They weren't bad people, they just didn't share my vision. I had to make the tough decision to seek out new relationships that challenged me, inspired me, and pushed me to grow. I sought mentors who had achieved what I wanted, peers who were hungry to improve, and communities that celebrated success and learning. That environment became fertile ground for my ideas and ambitions to take root and grow. Your mind is like a garden, and the people you spend time with are the seeds and nutrients. Plant yourself among those who cultivate abundance, positivity, and relentless growth, and your wealth mindset will flourish. This is one of the most powerful forces at your disposal. Choose your associations wisely, because they will determine the trajectory of your success. When it comes to money, the way you think about it can either build a fortress around your dreams or open the doors wide to opportunity. You must come to understand that financial intelligence, like any skill worth having, is not fixed at birth. It can be developed, expanded, and refined through effort, learning, and persistence. The moment you embrace this truth, you shift your mindset from one of scarcity, where you see limits, risks, and threats, to one of abundance, where you recognize possibilities, growth, and opportunity. In my own life, I've faced moments where money seemed elusive, where I questioned if I was cut out for success. But I learned that those feelings were just reflections of a mindset trapped in scarcity. When I began to see financial challenges not as dead ends, but as lessons, my whole perspective changed. Instead of fearing failure, I started seeking what I could learn from each setback. I asked myself, what skill can I develop? What knowledge can I gain? How can I improve my financial literacy? This approach kept me moving forward, growing stronger with each experience. The mindset of abundance invites you to welcome challenges as opportunities. Think about the greatest investors or entrepreneurs you admire. They didn't avoid risks or challenges, they leaned into them because they knew those experiences were part of the growth process. They believed that with every effort, they were becoming more capable, more resourceful, and more equipped to attract wealth. If you want your mind to attract unlimited wealth, start by adopting a growth mindset about money. Believe that you can learn, adapt, and master the financial skills you need. Let go of limiting beliefs that say, I'm not good with money, or I'll never get ahead. Instead, tell yourself, I am growing, I am learning, and every challenge brings me closer to financial freedom. When your mind embraces this kind of thinking, wealth naturally flows toward you. One of the greatest obstacles standing between you and unlimited wealth isn't found in the economy, the market, or even your skill set. It's in the thoughts you hold about money, those deep-seated beliefs that often go unnoticed but quietly control your results. If you carry ideas like, I'll never be rich, or money's always hard to come by, you're putting up invisible barriers that stop wealth from flowing to you. These beliefs act like a dam holding back a powerful river of opportunity, and until you tear down that dam, you'll struggle to experience true financial freedom. I've seen this play out not just in others, but in my own life. Early on, I had thoughts that money was something reserved for a select few, that it was difficult, complicated, and maybe even unfairly distributed. Those thoughts kept me stuck for a time. But when I began to recognize these as limiting beliefs and, more importantly, when I challenged them, I opened a new channel of possibility. I started affirming to myself that I was worthy of wealth, that financial abundance was available to me, and that money could flow with ease when I aligned my efforts and mindset. Changing your mental script is not some fluffy, wishful thinking. It's a necessary reset of your inner dialogue. Imagine you're rewiring your brain for success. Each time you catch a negative thought, replace it deliberately with an empowering one. Instead of "I can't afford this," say, "I'm attracting opportunities to grow my income." Instead of "I'm not good with money," say, "I am learning how to manage and multiply my wealth." This process takes time, but it's essential because your beliefs shape your reality. You become what you believe about yourself and your money. Eliminate those limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering truths. Make it a daily practice and watch how your relationship with wealth transforms. When you do this, you're not just hoping for wealth, you're training your mind to attract it naturally. When it comes to attracting wealth, it's not enough to simply wish for it or work hard without a clear sense of what you're aiming for. Your mind, especially your subconscious, is deeply influenced by the pictures and feelings you hold inside. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. If you consistently visualize and feel yourself living in abundance, you are planting the right seeds that will grow into real opportunities and results. I remember when I first started my journey toward financial independence. I would take a few minutes each day to close my eyes and picture what my life would look like if money was never a worry. I imagined the freedom to make choices without stress, the joy of giving generously, and the comfort of knowing my family was secure. But more than just seeing those images, I made sure to feel the emotions tied to them: gratitude, excitement, and pieces, though they were already a reality. This wasn't just daydreaming, it was training my brain to accept abundance as a natural part of my life. Your brain doesn't always know the difference between something vividly imagined and something physically experienced. When you repeatedly visualize your success and wealth, it begins to align your thoughts and behaviors toward making those images come true. Your subconscious mind becomes more alert to opportunities that support your vision and more creative in finding ways to achieve it. The power of this practice is in the feeling. If you only see wealth as a distant goal, it stays just that, a distant goal. But when you feel the joy and gratitude of having it now, your mind starts acting as if it's already yours. This opens doors to new ideas, new actions, and new connections. So make it a habit. Each day, find a quiet moment to vividly picture your abundant life. Feel it deep in your heart and express gratitude for it as if it's already in your hands. Doing this rewires your brain, and over time, you'll notice your world shifting in ways that prove the power of this simple but profound exercise. Building wealth is never a straight line. It's a winding path filled with challenges and setbacks that test your resolve. Many people start with enthusiasm but falter when faced with obstacles, losing momentum and eventually giving up. The truth is, your mind must be trained to persisto, keep moving forward even when the road gets tough. Persistence isn't just a nice-to-have trait. It's the cornerstone of lasting success. In my own life, I've encountered plenty of setbacks. Early on, I faced failures that could have easily stopped me, business ventures that didn't take off, moments of doubt when the path seemed unclear. But each time I reminded myself that every obstacle was simply a lesson disguised as hardship. Instead of seeing failure as a final verdict, I began to view it as a necessary step in the process of growth. The mind that attracts wealth understands that setbacks are temporary and that resilience is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. When you train yourself to be consistent, to show up day after day regardless of results, you create a momentum that carries you forward. It's like a river carving its way through rock, not because of brute force, but because of persistent flow. Remember the story of the gold miners during the California gold rush. Man gave up just 3 feet from the strike. If only he had persisted a little longer, the gold would have been his. Your journey is no different. You may be closer to your breakthrough than you think, but it requires relentless persistence to reach it. So train your mind to endure, to keep faith when results aren't immediate. This resilience is what turns dreams into reality. The road will have bumps, but your persistence will outlast every temporary setback. Keep moving forward. That's how wealth becomes yours. The way you think about money is everything. If you approach life as a consumer, always asking, what can I get? You'll find yourself trapped in a cycle of spending and scarcity. But if you train your mind to think like a wealth creator, your entire relationship with money changes. Wealth is not just something to be taken, it's something to be built by creating value and solving problems for others. In my own experience, the most successful people I've known aren't those who chase money blindly. They're the ones who look around and ask, how can I contribute? What problem can I solve? How can I serve in a way that others need? This shift in mindset transforms your energy and actions. You become a magnet for opportunity because you're focused on giving rather than just getting. When you think like a creator, your mind starts to scan the world for unmet needs, gaps in the market, or ways to improve existing systems. You become inventive and proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for wealth to come to you, you go out and build it by offering something valuable. This is the essence of unlimited financial growth. Adding value creates wealth, not consumption. This shift also impacts your long-term success. Consumers tend to live paycheck to paycheck, always dependent on external factors. Creators, on the other hand, generate streams of income because they continually innovate and provide worth to the marketplace. So I encourage you to train your mind daily. Ask yourself, how can I add value today? What can I create that benefits others? When you make that question your focus, doors will open, ideas will flow, and wealth will begin to follow. Think like a creator, not a consumer, and watch your financial world transform. The journey to attracting unlimited wealth begins with a commitment to lifelong learning. The moment you stop expanding your financial knowledge, you close the door to new opportunities and growth. Wealthy minds are always curious, always hungry to understand more about money, markets, investments, and the principles that govern success. If you want your mind to attract wealth, you must become relentless in your pursuit of financial education. In my early days, I didn't come from a wealthy background. What I had was a thirst for knowledge. I devoured books on success, listened to mentors, attended seminars, and absorbed everything I could about managing money and growing wealth. It was this constant learning that allowed me to make smarter choices. Every new idea, every insight shifted my thinking and opened new doors that I hadn't seen before. Education isn't just about facts and figures, it's about shaping your mindset and sharpening your instincts. When your mind is filled with the right knowledge, you naturally make better decisions. You start to recognize good investments, avoid costly mistakes, and spot opportunities others miss. This isn't magic. It's the result of feeding your mind with the best information available. Even after achieving success, the most wealthy individuals I've met never stop learning. They know the world changes, economies shift, and new tools emerge. Staying stagnant means falling behind. The more you commit to growing your financial IQ, the more you empower yourself to attract wealth effortlessly. So make a habit of reading books, seeking mentors, attending seminars, or simply learning from real-world experiences. Let your mind become a sponge for financial wisdom. The knowledge you gather will act like a magnet, drawing opportunities to you that you never imagined possible. Keep learning, keep growing. This is how your mind begins to attract unlimited wealth. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that blaming outside circumstances, the economy, or other people for their financial situation only keeps them stuck. True wealth doesn't come from luck or circumstance. It begins the moment you take full responsibility for your financial life. When you own your choices, your mindset, and your habits, you reclaim the power to change your reality. In my own journey, I faced many hardships. Early on, I had plenty of reasons to point fingers to upbringing, limited resources, the challenges of the time. But at some point, I understood that none of those reasons could create the success I dreamed of. I had to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the architect of my own financial future. That shift in thinking was the most powerful decision I ever made. Your thoughts are the blueprint of your financial reality. If you believe you are powerless, or that money is always beyond your reach, your mind will act accordingly, creating obstacles and limitations. But when you decide to take responsibility, when you say, I am in control of my money, my habits, and my results, you begin to shape your world deliberately. This ownership means setting clear goals, developing discipline, and learning to make choices that serve your wealth-building journey. Taking responsibility also means acknowledging where you've made mistakes and learning from them instead of making excuses. It's about having the courage to change your habits, to seek new knowledge, and to surround yourself with the right influences. No one else can do this work for you. The power lies within your willingness to step up and take charge. So, if you want to attract unlimited wealth, start by owning your financial story completely. Your future is not written by your past or your environment. It's written by the decisions you make right now. Take responsibility, design your mindset, and watch how your financial life transforms. There's a profound truth many overlook. Your income is directly linked to your personal development. The moment you begin to work harder on yourself than you do on your job, your financial life starts to change in ways you never imagined. It's not just about clocking more hours or pushing harder. It's about expanding your mind, growing your skills, and refining your character. In my own life, I saw this clearly. Early on, I worked countless hours in different jobs, hustling just to make ends meet. But what truly transformed my income wasn't working harder at those jobs, it was working harder on myself. I invested time in reading, learning from mentors, and building habits that elevated my thinking and my actions. Slowly but surely, the returns on that investment showed up in my bank account. When your mindset becomes richer, when you cultivate discipline, resilience, and a willingness to learn, you begin attracting bigger opportunities. The world rewards those who can offer more value, and that value starts from within. Developing new skills, sharpening your communication, enhancing your financial literacy, all of these increase your capacity to earn and keep wealth. This process is like planting seeds in fertile soil. The richer and more nourished the soil, your mind and character, the bigger and stronger the trees of your income will grow. Personal growth expands your capacity to solve problems, to lead, and to innovate. It unlocks doors that were previously closed. So, if you want to increase your wealth, don't just focus on external circumstances or quick wins. Commit to a lifelong journey of personal development. Feed your mind with knowledge, surround yourself with inspiration, and challenge yourself to grow every single day. Remember, the richer your mind becomes, the richer your bank account will be. It's a natural law that cannot be broken. If you want to attract unlimited wealth, you have to learn to set high standards for yourself and then refuse to settle for anything less. It's easy to get comfortable with what's familiar or convenient, but comfort is the enemy of growth. Mediocrity keeps you stuck, and if you want to build real wealth, you've got to raise the bar higher than most are willing to go. In my own journey, I discovered that when I set low expectations, my results reflected that. But the moment I committed to demanding more from myself, everything began to change. I stopped accepting average outcomes and started pushing toward goals that genuinely challenged me. Those bigger goals required me to stretch beyond my comfort zone, and that's where growth and wealth reside, just outside what feels easy or safe. Raising your standards isn't just about grand ambitions. It's about the daily choices you make. What kind of work will you accept? How will you treat yourself and others? What habits will you refuse to tolerate? When you raise these standards consistently, you start attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that match that new level of expectation. Here's the thing. Higher standards create higher results. It's a natural law of life. The mind operates on what you demand from it. If you tell yourself, this is enough, that's what you'll get. But if you say, I deserve more, I'm capable of more, your entire mindset shifts. You begin to see wealth not as a distant dream, but as an achievable reality. So, train your mind to aim high and to never settle for less than you know you're capable of. Don't just dream big, act big, because when your standards rise, your wealth will rise with them. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces you can cultivate if you want to attract unlimited wealth. It may seem simple, but the truth is, a grateful mind is like a magnet. It pulls miracles and abundance towards you. When you train your mind to appreciate what you already have, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, you open the door to receiving far more than you ever imagined. I remember a time early in my life when I had very little financially. Yet I made it a daily practice to give thanks for even the smallest blessings, a roof over my head, food on the table, or a kind word from a stranger. That simple habit shifted something inside me. Instead of feeling desperate or lacking, I began to feel abundant and hopeful. And as my mindset changed, so did my circumstances. Opportunities started to show up because I was no longer blinded by scarcity. I was tuned into possibility. Gratitude changes your vibration. It moves you away from the feeling of not enough and places you in a state of receiving. This shift is critical because your mind responds to what you focus on. When you focus on what you have, you draw more of it into your life. When you focus on what you lack, you push abundance away. It's like tuning a radio. You'll only pick up the station you're tuned into. Gratitude also helps you stay grounded during the ups and downs of your financial journey. When setbacks come, and they will, it reminds you of the good already present in your life and fuels the faith to keep moving forward. So, if you want to train your mind to attract unlimited wealth, start each day with gratitude. Recognize and appreciate your current blessings and watch how that simple practice multiplies your wealth in ways beyond money, because true abundance begins in the heart.